What is going on, everyone? It's your boy, Skeletor SG, coming at you with some details on the new Darksiders game released a little over 2 weeks ago on console. Didn't know there was a new Darksiders? Wondering if the core game has stayed intact? Curious how the Last Horseman Strife is? Whatever reason you're here, this is Skeletor Should You Buy Darksiders Genesis. Darksiders Genesis released on Valentine's Day this year, about 2 months after its initial release on PC. I honestly didn't even know the game came out on PC, if that's any indication on how well the game did at initial launch. But there seems to be some coursing blood at relaunch on console. Darksiders is an over-the-top action RPG in the vein of Diablo. The story of the game is a prequel that follows the final horseman Strife and his brother War on their mission to investigate the nefarious plot of Lucifer and the different realms of hell. Tasked by the series' running council, the horsemen descended to hell seeking answers of what Lucifer could be plotting, only to be aided by some series' familiar faces. The demon Vulgrim assists the horsemen using his snake portal Void Realm to send the pair to various realms to battle and collect rare artifacts. Along the way, in an attempt to gain strength in hell, Samael promises the horsemen information on Lucifer's plot in exchange for eradicating the lords of hell, which sets our horsemen on a fetch quest list of demon killing for information on Lucifer. The story itself is interesting enough, but it's the embedded lore, details, and description that give you a truer sense of what's unfolding in the game. The Darksiders universe has always been rife with lore, and the reimagining is no different. I feel like this game was definitely made for the fans because the timing of the story as a prequel is odd, considering the expansion of the series with Darksiders 3. But overall, the story can be kind of brushed aside, and you'll understand what's going on. Kill some demons, find some information, be a good council errand boy. The best thing to look forward to here is some of the amazing writing. You'd think that the writers for Strife were the people that wrote for Destiny's Gate 6. He's constantly wisecracking, and his witty remarks are hilarious in stark contrast to War's brooding and violent quips and dedications to the balance. But some of the writing for the demons is impeccable and really adds layers to each character and the overall story. I feel I know more about some of the auxiliary characters than ever before, like Vulgrim and Samael. All in consideration, the story delivers a great voice cast with some good one-liners, delivering a generally satisfying experience, but this story is kind of hiding under how awesome the gameplay actually is. As a huge top-down couch co-op dungeon crawler kind of guy, this game piqued every curiosity I have, and the redesigned gameplay loop had me drooling for this game for a while. However, after my less than lit evaluation of Darksiders 3, I was very nervous. But what I got was a very well-balanced action RPG with a repositioned camera. Very little dungeon crawling, much of the Darksiders combo battling, the vast open areas with hordes of enemies, items defined, and sheer violence are the telltale of this game's core gameplay loop. Genesis is very streamlined, meaning that the combos and skills you have are concise but quite limited, but the ways you can use your skills and special items adds for a very spicy flavor. Strife is a gunner, his primary fire being an infinite bullet count revolver set that eventually builds up a hot streak, allowing Strife to shoot faster and do more damage. As you go along, however, Strife gains access to a myriad of elemental bullet types that can be set to an alternate fire, allowing for wacky combos like chain lightning bullets and black hole launchers. These subsequently have augmented effects in Hot Streak as well, so it's nice to find good combos and mess around. Strife has a melee attack, but his home is in his firearms. He is great for long distance, and his close range attacks can be used to generate ammo needed for his elemental guns. War is a much more complex character, having true button-faced combos with his sword. Like Strife, he obtains elemental attributes, but for his blade that augments some form of his underlying combo, or offers an elemental effect that either damages or kills enemies. War feels silky smooth and emblematic of his first on-screen appearance in Darksiders 1. Each character had a great feeling and was a blast to move around and play with, but I would have loved to see some more expansion on the core moves. The combat moves are limited to 3 unique skills for each character: L1 plus square, circle, or triangle, with no means of cycling or learning new moves. The skills are very nice, but after a while I basically stopped using Strife's caltrips and War's stone skin. When you start maximizing DPS, there's really no reason to play passively. In true Darksiders fashion, War and Strife both have a chaos form, Strife's being the new anarchy form that does devastating damage and turns our horsemen into a fiendish demon that outputs critical damage numbers. Genesis has a peculiar system called demon cores. Demon cores are found by vanquishing enemies, and each of the 64 enemies have a core, and those cores also have levels based upon how many you've collected. Each core offers a skill based upon its level, and these cores have a type, whether it's attack, heal, or a magic type, that you place in the map. The creature core map ascribes a level to each horseman after analyzing the buffs of wrath, attack, and health. Ultimately, that number is used to help determine the difficulty you can navigate through according to the game. You can change the difficulty of each level at the beginning of each level, but doing hard or mayhem has its challenges, as you see you might be drastically underleveled. That's basically it, however, so the RPG aspect in this game is the weakest. Very little to expand on in terms of skills and abilities to level up, but in terms of looting and objects to find, the world is loaded with things to do. Darksiders Genesis took a stale gameplay formula and enhanced it in a way that was easily digestible and very engaging. What it lacks in difficulty and diversity is made up through online and couch co-op destruction that is smooth and very fun. This game is not without its flaws, from constantly getting stuck in architecture or rocks to inconsistent attack schemes and hit detection. The problems are few and far between, but when you do encounter them, they can be a serious headache to juggle. Darksiders Genesis hits every note for me in the graphics and audio department. Right away on the title screen, we are graced with this modern choral singing and this epic ballad that really sets the stage for our experience, and each level's music design was fantastic. Combine that with a killer voice performance on all fronts, you have a splendid and highly engaging audio experience. My biggest complaint was that the Void Realm, where you spend 20% of the game, they have this reverb echo effect that is far too powerful, and it feels like you sometimes can't hear the characters talking because the previous echo is drowning out the new words. The visuals were the business for your boy and had me craving cutscenes and conversation. Genesis has an intro cutscene that's animated in full 3D scale and is scrumptious, but that's not the tea for me. Genesis implements an animated comic book style for its cutscenes as well as its images for individuals talking.
And my word, is it beautiful.
It allowed for depth and focus in certain places I feel full rendering can miss. The only thing that doesn't work in the top-down visual format is the characters. Their models are so detailed, and there isn't but 2 times that we really get to see them in focus, making changeable armor hard to describe. All in all, the game looks great. Excellent lighting, superb particles, and with all the commotion and high fidelity, has very stable frame rate. All in all, Darksiders Genesis is a game I think you should play. Getting my platinum netted me about 35 hours of play, and the core story took about 21. For a $40 game on console, not only is this an awesome local co-op game, you won't feel under or overwhelmed playing by yourself. The game looks to unite the Darksiders franchise with an engaging new gameplay loop while maintaining the same feel of its predecessors, and I'd say for 95%, they definitely succeeded. They didn't reinvent the wheel, and for all intents and purposes, the game is ultra repetitive without the same reward scheme as Diablo or Path of Exiles. You can't really make War or Strife your own, but you can certainly kick a lot of ass along the way. But if you're looking for a loud, chaotic blast of a co-op game, I'd pick this up for now. Otherwise, you can certainly wait for an even more substantial drop, as its replay value is minimal after your first 2 runs.